Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Elise, and this is my mystical bookshelf. And today I have for you another Sarah Dessen book. It is the rest of the story, and this one is very fitting for today because it is the heart of summer as of right now, and this book revolves around the 4th of July. So it's very fitting for today because I am recording on the 4th of July. So, happy Independence Day. And this is one of Sarah Dessen's newer books. This came out in 2019. So it came out in my second year of college, I think. So I had bought this at Barnes & Noble a very long time ago. But when I was rereading it, I listened to it on Libby. And I loved listening to it. It was very, very good. And this one is definitely going to be my top 10. I would say the rest of the story is one of my favorite newer Sarah Dessen books because I know a lot of her older books are really good for nostalgia purposes, but this newer one is very, very good. I really enjoy it. I enjoy following Emma Saylor. That is the main girl in this book. Her name is Emma. Her middle name is Saylor, but she goes by just Emma. And this one is different because I really like the summer camp aspect of it. Like, Emma goes to live with her mom's side of the family unexpectedly. So the basic premise, Emma is an only child, and she lives with her dad, and her mom passed away tragically like 5 years ago, I think, to drug abuse. And so she doesn't really know a whole lot about her mom. I think, well, she either passed away 10 years ago. I think she passed away a couple years before Emma was really like old enough to understand what happened. So Emma doesn't really know a lot about her mom, and her dad kind of really shelters her. So this book, I found it very compelling because of Sarah's use of drug addiction, and there's also themes of classism and how that different classes of people can either connect or grow distant from each other. So Emma goes to live with her mom's side of the family, and her dad is not particularly happy about that because she is going off to college very soon, and he doesn't want her to like stray from the status quo and what she's expected to do. So this is a very like, Emma doesn't really know who she is as a person. And I think what's very compelling about this book is that it's more of a coming of age rather than a romance. The romance is kind of like secondary to the coming of age story, and that's something that I like a lot in Sarah Dessen's books. Like, I feel like my favorite Sarah Dessen books are the ones where the romance is either non-existent or it's very, very secondary. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the ones that completely revolve around romance. And I feel like that might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but that is how I feel. Because this one is about Emma, but it's also about her relationship with Rue. And Rue is the boy that Emma was best friends with when she was a little girl. And Emma doesn't really remember anything about Rue, but Rue remembers everything about Emma. He remembers her as Sailor. So Emma's mom had called her Sailor, and that is Emma's middle name. And everyone in this book kind of goes by a nickname or like their middle name. So like there's another character in here whose name is Anna, but her middle name is Gordon, so she goes by Gordon. And Rue, I think his real name is Christopher, but he really liked kangaroos when he was little, so he now goes by the nickname of Rue. So this book It's very charming. I really do love it. I love all of the side characters. This is one where the side characters are also really the spotlight in the book. They kind of add a different richness to the story, which is I think it's very interesting, and I love it, because sometimes the side characters in Sarah Dessen books, they kind of hinder the story. They don't necessarily help it, but this one, they help the story. So Emma's mom's side of the family is very crazy, and Emma's mom is more of a working class woman, and her dad is more of a snooty yacht club type of guy, and that is where the classism dynamic comes in. And I think that's the most compelling part of the story, is the fact that it's like the rich versus the working class. And I definitely identify more, or I was more empathetic towards the working class rather than the yacht club type of people, because it kind of feeds into the stereotype that these yacht club people think they're better than everyone else, and they definitely do act like it. And I just think it's interesting that Emma, when she first gets here, her cousins all think she's the yacht club type girl, but really she's proving to be more of the working type, or the working class type. And I think that goes to show that her mom had a bigger impact on her than what she realized. So Emma Sailor goes to Lake North, and it's kind of confusing because Lake North is the richer side of the community, and North Lake is the non-richer side of the community. So I don't know why she did that. I feel like Sarah could have came up with like North Lake and South Lake maybe would have been better, but nonetheless. So Emma goes to live in North Lake, and she goes to live with her grandma, Mimi, and her cousins. And she has a plethora of cousins that she never knew about. And Emma is an only child, so she unexpectedly connects with everyone so easily, even though she's used to always being by herself. And I love that family dynamic. Like, all of her cousins are very lively and boisterous, and they're so funny. And it's really interesting to see how quickly Emma adapts to being a Lake North girl, or a North Lake girl, I'm sorry. I'm going to probably have so much trouble with that. So, North Lake, working class. Lake North, rich people. Okay, let's try and keep that straight, because that's something that really confused me. Even when I was listening to it and reading it, I was like, wait, which part are we at? Are we on the non-rich part or the rich part? So So it's awesome to see that Emma is so comfortable right away, even though everyone has all of these stereotypes about her, because she hasn't been back since she was like 4 years old. And everyone remembers Emma, and they remember her as Sailor. So throughout the book, she goes by the name Sailor instead of the name Emma, which is much to her father's chagrin, because her father does not want Emma to be influenced at all by these people. And I feel bad for Emma's dad. I really do. I understand where he's coming from, because his wife struggled with addiction and drug abuse and poverty and stuff like that, and she was a very crazy person. I think she also might have had a personality disorder, but I don't know if that was explicitly stated. But I mean, the personality disorder might have came out because of her drug abuse and alcoholism and stuff. But he's worried that Emma is going to become like her mom. And I think that's why he wants to protect her so much from everyone on the North Lake side, because he's worried that she's going to go down the same path as her mom's name is Waverly. He's worried that she's going to go down the same path as Waverly. But really, Emma's a really good girl throughout this whole book. She doesn't really do anything that would warrant the level of scrutiny that her dad gives her. And that's something that always frustrates me in Sarah Dessen's books, because sometimes the parents are like overly protective, like in this one, and they provide a level of scrutiny that I think is not warranted. And yet, in other books, the parents are very laissez-faire and they don't scrutinize their children, even though those children should be the ones being scrutinized. Sort of like in this lullaby, Remy is more of the type that will go out drinking, she'll go out smoking, she'll be doing all these bad things. Bad, I guess. I don't know. Like classically bad. But Emma is the type of straight-laced girl. She has OCD, I think, and she just constantly wants to strive to be a good person, and she doesn't go out drinking, she's not going to go out smoking, she's not going to go partying or anything that's classically bad in terms of the Sarah Dessen world. But her dad is really protective and strongly scrutinizing of her, even though Remy's mom doesn't really do anything at all. She's more of the I'm not really a part of the story mom, which is fine. I think that's great. I just think it's weird how there's always this weird parent dynamic in Sarah Dessen's books. And like 85% of the time, I will say that I do not like the parents in Sarah Dessen books. They are grossly obtuse to the point of like, how are you even allowed to be raising a child? Because I don't think you really understand what's going on. Or they're the other half where it's like they have no idea what's going on and they're not doing anything to help their kid whatsoever. So I don't know if that's like something that's personal to Sarah, or if that's how her parents, or if she's going off of experiences of her friends, or if she's going off of her own personal experiences. But I would say something that is a point of contention for me a lot of the time is the parental dynamic in the Sarah Dessen books. And that is something that is new that I've noticed. Because when I was in high school, I don't think I noticed the parent dynamic as much because I was a child myself. I didn't really think anything of it. But now, since I'm almost 30, I'm kind of reading these Sarah Dessen books and I'm scrutinizing the parents more and being like, well, why aren't you doing this for your child? Or why are you doing this to your child when your child hasn't done anything that would warrant this behavior? And it's just interesting reading these books as an adult who is the age of a mom versus reading it as an age of one of the characters. So that's something that I've noticed in my rereading. I'm more scrutinizing of the parents, and I'm more thinking, why aren't you doing this with your child or doing this for your child? But yeah, so her dad is very overprotective, and I guess I can understand why, but he should trust Sailor. He should trust Emma. And that's something that's also very frustrating, is the trust issues that Sailor's dad constantly has with her. And so this whole month that Sailor's gone, he's afraid that she's going to change so much, when really she's just trying to grow into herself because she's only 17. She's going to go off to college soon. And I just think there should be breathing room to figure out who you are when you're this young. And I really like how we see Sailor grow from Emma to Sailor to Emma Sailor. That's kind of the character development. So first we meet Emma, and this is before she goes to North Lake. And then we meet Sailor, who is the girl at North Lake. And we see her interact with all of her cousins and her grandma, and they have this beautiful family dynamic. Like, everyone in the family always sticks up for one another. They're always there for one another. I think the family aspect in this book is what makes it a favorite for me, because I really love when there's a giant family and they all band together and are like, they'll always stick up for one another, because I really love that. And it's beautiful to see Sailor like mesh with her mom's side of the family and eventually make it her family. And I also love seeing Sailor and Rue's relationship blossom, because at first Rue remembers everything about Sailor, but Sailor doesn't really remember anything about Rue. And it's nice to see them get to know each other and eventually realize they have feelings for one another. It's a very friends to lovers situation, and that's also my favorite dynamic in a Sarah Dessen book. I feel like most of them are like that, but this one, it's very evident that they really did start off as friends, and it wasn't just like the girl is like pining for the boy or the boy is pining for the girl. It was just like they were getting to know each other slowly and gradually over the span of the book, which I thought was really nice. So we go from meeting Sailor in the middle of the book at North Lake, and then at the very end, Emma decides to go by Emma Sailor. So it's like we see this character development, and we go taking these two different personalities that Emma Sailor ultimately has, and we put them together to make one whole girl. And I think that's one of the dynamics that I also love about this book, because it's showing the reader that you don't have to pick sides. You can be both. You can be Emma and you can be Sailor. You can be Emma Sailor. And I think that's the best message, because sometimes it feels like parents especially want to compartmentalize their children and make them be this one thing, and they can't be anything else. Like, you're either perfect or you're not, or you're smart or you're not, or you're pretty or you're not, or anything like that. It just feels like there's so many boxes that people have to feel like they have to be put into. But this book really showcases that you can be both. Like, Emma Sailor can be the girl from North Lake and also the girl from Lake North. She doesn't have to choose between whether she wants to be more like her mom or more like her dad. She can be both. And that is something that really brings it up in my tier level when it comes to Sarah Dessen books. Because I don't like it when there's like compartmentalization of a person. I think it doesn't bring anything to the story. Like, people are very dynamic, and making someone fit into a box is very stifling. So it's really nice to see Emma Sailor grow into herself and grow into both of those names. Because it's when she first gets to North Lake, she's very shy, and she doesn't really know what to expect. But like I said, she grows to have a beautiful relationship with her grandma, and I love her grandma. Her grandma's very nice. Mimi owns this hotel in North Lake, and Emma Sailor has to help clean, and I think it was really cool to see that Emma Sailor could still be part of herself because she loves cleaning, and I loved that she could help her grandma run the hotel and help clean and also keep that part of herself, because she really, that's one part of her personality that she really enjoys. She enjoys cleaning, which I thought was funny, because I'm like, who enjoys cleaning? But nonetheless, I think it's cool that she enjoys cleaning, because I certainly do not. But yeah, I feel like the rest of the story is just a really great summer read, and it's really powerful, and it really brings in the dynamics of family and how you can have two sides to yourself and still be one whole person. And I really loved learning about Waverly as well, because through Emma becoming Sailor, we learn about Waverly too, and we learn about her drug addiction. And we also learn that she was best friends with Rue's dad, who was also named Christopher. And I loved hearing and listening about Waverly and Christopher's relationship and friendship, because it really mirrors Emma Saylor and Rue's relationship as well. So I thought that was really cool. And I don't know, I would totally recommend reading this book for summer, because it's definitely the perfect summer read. And I thought it was cool how they tied in the 4th of July, because the 4th of July was Rue's dad's favorite holiday. And so it was kind of like when they celebrated the 4th of July, it was like a memoriam for Christopher and Waverly. And I thought that was really beautiful. And this book kind of makes me tear up a lot, because there's really good themes and good family dynamics. And the relationship between Rue and Emma Saylor is so wholesome. I love watching them go from friends to something more than friends. It's just really sweet. And I would totally recommend this book for anyone who loves a good summer read that's more deep, not as lighthearted. This isn't a really lighthearted Sarah Dessen book. This is more of a deeper side of her library, because she's got some fluffy books, but this one doesn't feel as fluffy, and I really like the non-fluffy Sarah Dessen books. So yeah, those are my scattered thoughts on that. I feel like I didn't have a good plan for this video and how to explain my thoughts, but I hope that it comes across articulate enough for everyone to understand what I thought about this. But thank you for watching, and I appreciate all of my subscribers, and I appreciate the comments that people leave. And if you have any comments on the rest of the story, or you want to discuss it with me, please let me know. And if you have any suggestions of books to read, please also let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content. And you can also find me on Instagram under Elise's Mystical Bookshelf. And you can also find me on Goodreads under the same name. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, friends.